53-year-old man has been arrested for attempted murder, dangerous driving and driving under the influence of drugs. That comes after a car rammed into crowds yesterday evening at Liverpool Football Club parade. Speaking at a press conference earlier today, Merseyside police said the driver had been tailgating an ambulance.
It is believed the driver of the Ford Galaxy car involved in this incident was able to follow an ambulance onto Water Street after the roadblock was temporarily lifted so that the ambulance crew could attend to a member of the public who was having a suspected heart attack.
Police also confirmed today, sadly, 4 children are amongst the 65 people injured, 11 remaining in hospital, but thankfully recovering well. We're hoping to speak shortly to somebody who was hit by that car, so it'll be really interesting to get their eyewitness testimony. But first, we've got former police officer Colin Sutton. Colin, thank you very much. Now, I'll be quite honest with you now. One of the things that I thought when I saw that press conference today was, why haven't they charged this bloke?
Well, he's been arrested for 3 very different offences, and the complexity of the investigation and the standard of the evidence needed to prove driving under the influence of drugs compared to dangerous driving and then compared to attempted murder are 3 very different things. So while if it were just the driving offences, I would expect he might have been, there will be a long investigation into attempted murder because you have to prove an intent to kill somebody or at the very least even very serious harm. And that takes much more time than it does to prove somebody was driving a car and they had drugs in their system.
So you wouldn't charge straight away for what one would imagine is a strict liability offence if you've got drugs or indeed too much drink in your system. So you wouldn't just charge. You'd wait to do it all in one go, would you?
Yeah, I think that's what will be happening. You know, it's the investigation will be a totality of everything that's gone on, and then the CPS will advise on the appropriate charges at the end of that investigation.
Yeah, OK. I mean, I think it is important for people to see some element of swift justice, or at least the perception of it. You know, again, this guy's not been charged yet. He may well come up with some kind of dynamite defence. It's hard to imagine, but he might do. It's important, I think, for people to see something done quite quickly by the police, isn't it?
Well, he was, you know, the police response on the night was, you know, very, very voluble, and you know, there was a huge volume of police officers there, and he was arrested at the scene, and they were, for once and this time, very quick to put out communications to the public to let them know what had gone on and what was going on. So, you know, I think there's a marked contrast here in how the same police force dealt with the Southport trust.
Well, quite. And actually, a lot of people are now saying, OK, if you're going to put that detail out about it being a 53-year-old white British man, fine, good. As far as I'm concerned, in my position, the more information, the better. But then we have to start doing that across the board. So we'll have to wait and see. Colin, thank you very much. I'm sorry it's short and sweet, but great to have your insight there, specifically on why we think this individual hasn't been charged yet. It's former police officer Colin Sutton. I'm going to bring in now Jack Trotter, who, I believe, was caught up in that car rampage in Liverpool last night. Jack, thank you very much. It's great to have you on the show. Firstly, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm just in agony at the minute, mate. So I am. Yeah, I'm just sort of sitting, finally able to recover. I was discharged from hospital in Liverpool about 7 in the morning and had to travel all the way up to Birmingham. So I have. So yeah, at the minute I'm just in a lot of pain. At the minute I'm just still quite traumatized, as you can imagine, about it all.
So, OK, well, if it's all right, can you just talk me through exactly what happened to you, please?
Yeah, so we had actually, it was me and my partner, we had actually met up with a couple of people also from Northern Ireland, so we have. And at the end of the parade, once the bus went past, we were all just sort of walking back up. I think it was Water Street. And my partner was about 10 yards ahead of me, so she was. And then I was just taking videos on my phone, just singing and dancing away with random Liverpool fans. And then I just heard a bunch of screaming. And the screaming was my girlfriend screaming for my name and just loads of screaming from people being hit. And then once I put my phone down, the car was basically face to face with me. And then basically what happened was I was like basically in the centre of the bonnet and I put my hands up trying to get him to stop and also to protect myself. and then I had just about manoeuvred out of the way, and the driver was able to clip my legs and just sort of sent me sort of spinning around the place, and he sustained injuries to my back.
So Jack, did you make eye contact with this guy? Did you try and get out of the way and then he aimed for you?
Mate, to be honest with you, it was all so quick. As soon as I put my phone down and realised what was going on, it was just sort of, life or death, sort of just trying to survive, get out of the way of this car. I was able to sort of lock eye contact with him for like half a second. So it was, and then by that time, he just tried to floor it and just basically ran right through me, essentially. To be honest with you, trying to kill me, trying to kill everyone else, behind me and everyone else that he tried to run over. It's just it's terrible, to be honest with you, mate.
Yeah, all right, look, hey, I'll just stress again, at this particular moment in time, the guy's not been charged with anything. We obviously have to wait and see how things progress in that sense. You've made you were there, you looked into the white of this person's eyes, and you've given your account of that. When you look back at it now, how do you feel about the police response at the time? Because we all saw the clips, and the car eventually comes to a stop, and then it's like Liverpool fans and police, very bravely, by the way, because you don't know what this guy's got in his car. You don't know who he is. It could be a bomb. It could be anything. All trying to swarm this car. So are you on the floor at that point, are you? And then people are trying to get this guy out of the car. What's happening?
So when I was hit, I was basically just sort of spun round, and I had fell into a bunch of people. And then once I got back up, the first thing I was looking for was my partner. So it was, and then I heard her screaming. I was able to find her. As soon as I found her, I just ran over to her and I gave her a big hug. And then as soon as the adrenaline wore off, I just felt the pain straight away in my back instantly, and I started screaming to her, Abby, my back's gone, my back's gone. And then I just collapsed. And then as soon as she was able to bring me up, there was just the response team. Everyone else, to the bouncers that brought me into the bar, all Liverpool fans trying to help me out. They were brilliant. I thought they were absolutely outstanding. Just giving everyone the help that they need in an event that happened so sudden. To be honest with you, I just think the question that everyone's trying to get is how the car got there in the first place. As you can imagine, this could have stopped. This could have been prevented if the car, hadn't have made its way there. But it happened, and to be honest with you, mate, I'm just trying to think positively that I am still here. I'm able to give you this interview, and I was able to give plenty of other interviews. I'm still able to go home to my wee son tomorrow. So I'm just
you've got. Do you mind me asking how old your son is?
He's only 3.
Goodness gracious me! I mean, that must have been going through your mind. I mean, last night when I was reporting on it all last night, and look, I'll be honest with you, I was expecting at some point to announce a death toll. And that didn't come.
Yeah, mate, to be honest with you, there was a lot of, and to be fair, it probably shouldn't have happened, but there was a lot of rumours going around that that was the case. But saying that, you can't really believe everything that you're told unless the likes of you guys report it, or the police have told. The police have came out and said that there has been a death toll, but thankfully there hasn't. And I'm just hoping that everyone else, if there is people still in the hospital, I'm hoping that they make a speedy recovery. And
absolutely,
yeah, it's just horrible.
You presumably, going to give your kid an extra big squeeze, really, because you think of what could have been, I suppose.
Well, it'll be him giving me the squeeze because I can't get up at the minute. So it'll be him giving me the squeeze. But yes, I can't wait to get.
Well, on that note, I'd like to say thank you for going to the effort of talking to us tonight. It is much appreciated, and I wish you all the very best, speedy recovery. Sorry that it happened to you, but I think in the light of things, I know it's awful for you now, but it could have been so much worse. But Jack, thank you very, very much. Jack Trotter there was caught up in that rampage in Liverpool last night.